Hello and welcome to a new year. Hopefully 2022's got to be better than the last couple of years, right? Anyway, I am here with a new TBR game called The Wheel of Colours, which was very much inspired from BookaholicYT, who I will link down below. So, for the new year, I'm going to try and start with a clean slate and read the books. I didn't read the books that I only half finished in last year's TBRs. For that, I've got I'll just go through the ones that I've got. So I've got My Friend Flicker that I got about 20 pages into, and then I washed out at reading because I was very much afraid that something would happen to this horse. But I'm determined to stick it out and read it. So, yeah, that's one of the books. The next one is Straight On Till Morning, the Peter Pan Twisted Tale. I'm about 140 pages in, and then I just got busy and never got around to finishing it. And then next one I have to finish is Renegades by Marissa Meyer. I got about 280 pages in, so this shouldn't take me long. I just need to commit to finishing reading it. And my last unread book my last half-finished book is called The Eye of Ra by Michael Asher, which again I got about 180 pages into and then just got busy with other stuff and didn't commit to finishing it. So before I've even started the TBR game, I already have 4 on here, plus a couple of other essential reads that I'll get to. So let me just quickly go over the rules for this TBR game, and then I'll get started. So the Wheel of Colours is, I have a wheel that I've put colours into, which you'll see with my screen recordings. I put colours that are the colours that are most common on my TBR shelves, and then a extra space for other, which is just anything that doesn't qualify as the colours I've mentioned separately. I will find a colour that connects to something else and go from there. How much colour qualifies, I will figure that out as I go. And if a colour lands on, if I roll the same colour more than one per month, then I will add a book on. Because of my reading plans, I'm only going to do 4 main spins this month. I'll get into more later on. And so So let's get into it, and the rules will be self-explanatory as we go. Okay, and as you could see, the first colour we landed on was pink. For that, I'm going to read What Once Was Mine, the Rapunzel Twisted Tale. And this works because almost the whole cover is pink, except for the bits that's black and white. So yeah, that's what I'm going to read for this one. Okay, and as you can see, the next one landed on yellow. So for that, I can count My Friend Flicker, because this cover is almost completely yellow. So at least I'm only adding 1 book so far, because this was on my pile already anyway. And as you can see, the next one was white. And for that, I'm going to go with Straight On Till Morning, which is a bit of a stretch, but it does have white here. I'm trying not to have too many books as I already have quite a big pile for Jan. But there is white featured on this, so I think it should count. And it's also my game, so I'm counting it. Let's move on to the next spin. And as you can see, I got yellow again, which means I will be adding another spin on top of my 4. This would have been my last spin, except I just got a repeat colour. Anyway, it's yellow again. For that, I will be reading The Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. This is a chunky book, and luckily it has an audiobook on script, so I should be able to finish it. Anyway, let's do the final spin, and then we'll do a wrap up. And the final colour for the month was red. And for that, I will be reading The Final Silence by Stuart Neville, which is a fair amount of red on this cover. Luckily this also has an audiobook, so I can also catch up with this one. Okay, so I guess the last thing to talk about this video is the Readathons I'm going to take part in. Sorry, if I look this way, it's on my computer. I'm taking part in 3 official readathons and then 3 reading challenges on top. So the first one is the Read Your Bookshelf Challenge, which is by Chantel Reads all day. I'll leave all this information below. And the theme for January is quiet, so read a book connected to quiet. The Final Silence, because silence is definitely a quiet word. The next one is the TBR Knockout Reading Challenge, in which every month there's 2 prompts and you just read one that fits the prompts. The first one is read a book that you meant to read last year, or finish reading a book you planned to read last year. I have about 4 of them, so that's covered. The other one is read the first book in the series. Renegades is on my finishing list, and it's definitely the first book in the series. Okay, and the final reading challenge is Buzzwordathon, and January is the 5 W's: who, what, when, where, why, and how. What once was mine. So I've managed to keep all of those as books that are already on there. And then let's move on to the readathons. The first one I'm taking part in is the Past and Future Readathon, which is hosted by Read a Book Gem. Again, all the information will be linked down below. And there's 4 past prompts and 4 future prompts. And for some of them and the 4 past prompts are reread a favourite book. That's probably going to be Little Women, which I can't be bothered to get down, but that'll probably be my reread is Little Women. Read a book recommended by someone older than you. I'm going with a recommendation by my brother, and that is The Time Traveler's Wife. I have ordered a physical copy. It hasn't arrived yet, but I do have an audiobook version in case it doesn't turn up. And read a book by an author you've enjoyed before but have not read from for a while. I'm probably going to go with one of my many Roald Dahl books up there, because I'm planning to do a reread all of those at some point, so might as well include that on. And then the last one is read a book set before you were born. I was born in 1995, so anything before that works. Just going to go with Last Night at the Telegraph Club, because this was like the 50s. Yeah, this is like 1954, so that's definitely before I was born. And then the 4 future prompts are: read a book you promised yourself you would read in the future. My friend Flicker. I promised myself I would actually get through this whole book and not wimp out at reading it this time. So this is one I promised myself I'd read. Read a book that features a profession you wanted to do when you were younger. I'm probably going to listen to the audiobook of Sadie about a podcaster. I did want to be a podcaster when I was younger. In fact, I'm currently getting that experience of it. So anyway, that's my option for that. Read a feel-good book to set the tone for the year ahead. I think I'll just figure that out as I go and see what I feel like reading for that one. And then the final one for this one is read a book with a protagonist older than you. That can either be the Da Vinci Code or probably Eye of Ra, but a fair amount of these works for that. So I've got that covered. And then that's it for that readathon. The next one is the Be Sure-athon, which is based on the Wayward Children series, and that is hosted by the Wild Sasha. Basically, I am on the Underworld team, which means that I'm on the Underworld team, and which means I can only go south down the board that I will put on the screen somewhere. And my first prompt is Queen, What Once Was Mine. Looks for that because Rapunzel's a princess, so her parents by default are queens. Next one is Red, The Final Silence. There's plenty of red on this. What's the next one? The next one is Chunky Book. I'm probably going to go with the Da Vinci Code for that one, because this is a very chunky book. Then the last one is Castle. I'm pretty sure Ghosts of Storm Shadow works for this one, because the king is back. I haven't read it yet, so I don't know if they face the king out of the castle or not, but I'm counting it anyway. If not, I'll figure out another one for that. And then the last prompt for that one is read a portal fantasy. I'm probably just going to, in the spirit of the Wayward Children readathon, I'm probably just going to start the Wayward Children series and audiobook Every Hearted Away. Yeah, and the final readathon that I'm doing is Battle of the Bookish. There are multiple hosts, but I will leave the link to the announcement I found, which is the Curious Owl, which I think is the main announcement. And I am on Team Greek. So, Greek gods. The first prompt for that is read a book with a beautiful cover. Last Night at the Telegraph Club, because this is a very beautiful cover. This is actually quite a beautiful cover. So, I'll go with this one. The next prompt is read a book that involves something of the arts. What Once Was Mine, because I'm pretty sure this has the song from Tangled in it, plus Rapunzel as an artist. And if this doesn't count, I will just count Sadie. And the next prompt is read a book with a character that is not like other girls. I'm pretty sure Girls of Storm and Shadow count for this one, because she's a rebel, because she doesn't conform like the other girls. So yeah, I'm going to go with this. I'm going to count this one. But that might be a bit of a stretch. The next one is Read a Book with Blue on the cover. Renegades. This cover is almost completely blue. And then the final prompt is Read a Mystery or Thriller. I've got at least 3 that I can count for that. Da Vinci Code, Final Silence, and The Eye of Ra. So, yeah, that's definitely the prompt. That's definitely covered in the Readathons. Again, I will link all the Readathon and Reading Challenge information down below. Okay, just, 1 second, because there's a lot of books here, but not as much as there could have been. Alright, so can they all fit in frame or are they going to fall down? This is my final stack for January. Luckily a fair amount of them are ones I already started, so I should be able to finish, but that's it. But we'll see. Alright, happy reading, and I'll catch you later.